Opisyal na nagpaabot ng pakikiramay si Russian President Vladimir Putin kay Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte kaugnay ng kaguluhang nangyari sa Mindanao. Ito ang balita ni Victor Cusare.
Hindi pa man opisyal na nagsimula ang kanyang official engagement sa Russia, kinailangan ng umuwi agad ng Pilipinas ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte matapos siyang magdeklara ng martial law sa Mindanao. Pero bago lumipad pabalik ng Pilipinas ang Pangulo, natuloy pa rin ang bilateral meeting kay Russian President Vladimir Putin. Dito ipinaliwanag ng Pangulo kung bakit kailangan niyang putulin ang official visit sa Russia.
Something happened in Mindanao. ISIS occupied a province. And there is still fighting going on. I have to go home because I should be there at this time. It's an urgent matter that the people should be there at this time.
Personal namang nagpaabot ng pakikiramay si President Putin kay Pangulong Duterte kaugnay ng insidente sa Mindanao.
Я хочу в начале нашей беседы выразить соболезнования в связи с гибелью людей в вашей стране, которая произошла вследствие террористической атаки. Я и мои коллеги, мы с полным пониманием относимся к тому, что вы вынуждены вернуться срочно на родину. Хочу выразить надежду на то, что конфликт, о котором вы сейчас сказали, будет как можно быстрее урегулирован с наименьшими потерями.
Sa kanilang maiksing pulong, nakiusap naman si Pangulong Duterte sa leader ng Russia na payagang makabili ng armas na panlaban sa mga terorista.
I am sorry if I hurry up, but I need to buy, if you can grant me a soft loan, or if I have the money and pay again right away. Because the arms that we ordered from America was cancelled. And I'm having a problem now with the ISIS. There's a rebellion in the world.
Ayon kay President Putin, pag-uusapan nila ang hiling na ito ng Pangulo. Samantala, bagamat naputol ang official visit ng Pangulong Duterte sa Russia, tuloy pa rin ang paglagda sa mga kasunduan sa pagitan ng dalawang bansa at pamamahalaan naman ito ni Foreign Affairs Secretary Alan Peter Cayetano.
Posibleng may mga kasabwat ng mga opisyal mula sa local government unit. Ito ang isa sa mga nakikitang dahilan ni Mindanaoan Senator Mig Zubiri kaya nakapasok ang armadong grupo sa Marawi City.
Yan ang katotohanan. Hindi naman makakalusot ito mga to sa mga barangay na hindi po alam ng mga kapitan sa barangay at hindi alam po ng mga members ng LGU.
Ayon pa sa mga senador, malinaw rin anya na may kabiguan ng intelligence community na magbigay ng impormasyon bago ang nangyaring pag-atake.
Ang nangyari sa tingin ko, medyo failure of intelligence din po ito kahit papano. Dahil paano nakapasok ang armed groups na ito sa isang napakalaking syudad katulad ng Marawi.
This is a failure of our ability to coordinate. Diba? Yan ang dahilan palagi. Siguro may nakakita ng may armadong grupo o may nangyayari na, hindi kaagad nag-report.
Isusulong ni Senator Zubiri na maimbestigahan ito ng Oversight Committee kung may nangyaring kapabayaan ng mga kinauukulang ahensya ng pamahalaan. Samantala, pinawi naman ng ilang senador ang pangamba ng publiko kaugnay ng deklarasyon na ito na martial law ni Pangulong Duterte sa Mindanao.
Yung martial law po na dineclare noong 70s, iba na po yung martial law ngayon because meron na pong checks and balances na nakalaan sa ating konstitusyon.
Ayon naman kay Senator Chis Escudero, ang deklarasyon ng martial law ngayon ay hindi nangangahulugang suspendido na rin ang pribilehiyo ng habeas corpus.
Kailangan may hiwalay ding deklarasyon pa ang Pangulo kaugnay ng pagsuspende ng privilege of the writ of habeas corpus na tila hindi kasama sa kanyang deklarasyon.
Ayon naman kay Senate President Coco Pimentel, walang kwestiyon sa karahasang idinulot ng mga terrorist group kaya kailangan nitong harapin ang puwersa ng pamahalaan upang matiyak ang kaligtasan ng mga residente at turista sa Mindanao. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Mitzi Borromeo. Security is tight around Marawi City, ground zero of the ongoing crisis. We're learning that locals continue to flee the city. Joining us now live from neighboring city Iligan is our George Cahiles. George, you've been on the road the entire afternoon trying to enter Marawi. Tell us how things are over there.
Mitzi, police are also deployed here in Iligan City. Almost everywhere here in the city. Now, aside from checkpoints, some more policemen are now patrolling in the area. as the city takes in those who are seeking refuge from Marawi City. Marawi residents fearing for their safety are finding shelter in nearby Iligan City. Women, children and the elderly with their belongings looking for a safe place to stay until the crisis in their city is resolved. They are tight-lipped, avoiding questions and visibly traumatized.
Bakit kayo umaalis na doon?
Kasi may ice is doon eh.
Takot kami.
Takot doon. Opo, so we will
Ay, pupunta.
punta kaming Iligan.
Bakit po?
Ayaw na rin doon.
We attempted a trip to Marawi but traffic was a mess with the volume of vehicles entering and exiting the embattled city. Iligan is roughly 40 kilometers away from Marawi, an hour's drive on a normal day. But this time, it takes us 3 hours only to reach halfway. Because of the exodus, authorities are stepping up security to contain the terrorists. Several checkpoints are set up in almost all towns leading to Iligan City. Authorities are doing a thorough search of private vehicles. Passengers of buses and other public transport need to get off and have their bags checked.
Yung galing sa taas, bababa dito na mag-escalate sa area natin. So yun ang iniwasan natin na hindi mag-escalate sa area ng Iligan City.
Police officers say motorists are cooperating with the strict security measures. Those residents from Marawi City who left the area told us that they will be staying with their relatives here in Iligan City. Mitzi.
Still a very difficult time for them. Keep safe there. George Cahill is reporting to us from Iligan City. He cut short his trip in Russia. President Rodrigo Duterte is back home and vows to crush terrorism in Mindanao. He also says he might expand the coverage of martial law if the seeds of terror reach the Visayas and Luzon. Our senior correspondent Ina Andolong has that story.
With a signed proclamation at hand, he made the announcement, fresh from Russia.
I had to declare martial law in the Mindanao group of islands for a period that exceeding 60 days, effective as of May 23, 2017. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus is likewise suspended.
The declaration covers Mindanao, even if the pressing threat from Maute is in Marawi. Apparently, the president has had enough of the series of attacks in the south, where even his home province of Davao was victimized by the same terror group last year. He says he won't hesitate to expand martial law's coverage, or if necessary, also extend the 60-day period.
If I think that the ISIS has already taken foothold also in Luzon, and terrorism is not really far behind, I might declare martial law throughout the country.
But for now, focus is in Mindanao. He's tasked AFP Chief of Staff Eduardo Año as martial law administrator, which means Año will have to wait a little longer before he can retire from the service and assume his task as DILG secretary. President Duterte stresses he will be harsh and his directives clear.
Remember that this is not intended for the law-abiding citizen. We are the least of your worry. But if you confront government, and my orders are, one, to enforce the law, and anyone caught possessing a gun and confronting us with violence, my orders are shoot to kill.
He says even civilians will be allowed to fight it out with terrorists, but with a condition.
If you are in a possession of a gun licensed by government, and in order to give you security and to protect your family, you can bring it out. Just show your ID or your license, especially your license.
Curfew in select areas, checkpoints, searches, warrantless arrests. All these, he says, will be allowed in Mindanao. He likened his martial law declaration to that of former President Ferdinand Marcos's, but without the abuses.
Martial law of Mr. Marcos was very good. I warn everybody, everybody is everybody. The members of the military, police, and everyone, do not try to challenge government. no abuses of any kind. The courts are open. You can always go to the court.
President Duterte says he's willing to go to Marawi to talk with the terrorists. For now, he heads home to Davao, where he will monitor the first days of his martial law declaration. Ina Andolong, CNN Philippines.
So many people wanting to leave Marawi City because of the crisis. The provincial government advises against this. The ARMM Vice Governor urges residents to stay home, lock their doors, and avoid getting caught in the crossfire.
Nung magkaroon ng firefight sa maraming areas dito sa Marawi, it is safer to stay home than to go out, and kasi you will be at risk of ma-crossfire ang mga civilian. We just didn't have time to make public announcements kasi bigla na lang nagputukan.
Opo.
At simultaneous napakalawak yung putukan at yung mga tao, all we can do is to announce through radio. Nagkaroon pa ng blackout kagabi.
Yeah.
Walang ilaw, so nag-effort na lang kami to reach as many residents as we can.
What was once a sanctuary for many in Mindanao is now in the ire of the crossfire. Marawi is a city in crisis. The Islamic city is the capital of Lanao del Sur, a fourth-class city with 96 barangays. It has the largest population among all cities and towns in the ARMM. There are 200,000 people living there, 90% of whom are Muslims. They're called Maranaos, who were traditionally fishermen and farmers. Through the years, they've become businessmen, educators, and traders.
Marawi is the center of livelihood, of finance, the banking and education of all Maranao living in Lanao del Sur, around 41 municipalities.
So it's important in the region.
Exactly. It's the heart and the brain of Lanao del Sur, Marawi City. And not only that, all Maranaos, like more than around 1 million Maranaos living outside Marawi City, has a relative family in Marawi City. That's how important.
In 2001, when the government waged an all-out war against the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, Marawi was among the areas in ARMM with the highest number of displaced residents. Here are some top stories from around the world. The terror threat level in the United Kingdom has been raised to its highest level for the first time in a decade. This follows after an attack at an Ariana Grande concert in Manchester Monday night. British Prime Minister Theresa May says the threat level is now critical and warns that a, quote, further attack may be imminent. Armed soldiers will now be deployed to key sites around the country. Taiwan's top court has cleared the way for the island to recognize same-sex marriage. The Constitutional Court ruled Wednesday that current laws, which say that marriage is between a man and a woman, violate the Constitution. The panel of judges has given Taiwan's parliament 2 years to amend or enact new laws which could potentially make Taiwan the first place in Asia to allow same-sex marriage. The island has a large gay community and its annual gay pride is the biggest in Asia. And U.S. President Donald Trump finally meets with Pope Francis at the Vatican today. This was their first face-to-face meeting. The two posed for pictures before talking privately for about 30 minutes. They exchanged gifts after the meeting. The pontiff gave Trump copies of his 3 main teaching documents and a medal by a Roman artist. Some of the themes in them contrast sharply with Trump's policies. Trump gave the Pope a set of first edition books written by civil rights icon Martin Luther King. An update on the crisis in Marawi, where government forces carry out offensives against dozens of terrorists. Also ahead, we'll show you how the young Peter Parker begins to navigate his newfound identity as the web-slinging superhero in the brand new trailer of Spider-Man: Homecoming. Stay with CNN Philippines Newsroom. Good evening to those of you joining us on Facebook Live. Coming up for you in the next segment of Newsroom, we'll be giving you some reactions from the Senate and the House of Representatives on the declaration of martial law in Mindanao. Also, we'll be looking at the businessmen's reaction on this. Also, there have been a lot of flights that have been suspended out of the Visayas and Mindanao area. We'll be giving you an update on that and how to get a refund for your flights. We're also getting a lot of reactions from you on President Duterte's declaration on martial law in Mindanao. And let me read you some of them. Jean Nakila says, I agree with the declaration of martial law. I am from Mindanao, watching from Qatar. Judith Omeres says, agree ako sa declared martial law para mahuli na ang mga teroristang mga yan. Also, we have people joining us from Afghanistan. There's Carlito Camacho. And again, thank you. You're a regular greeter. And also, Leo Godfrey Karumba says he supports martial law for Mindanao. Thank you for letting us know where you're watching from. Please continue to do so and let us know what you think of the stories. And stay tuned to CNN Philippines Newsroom.
Sa akin okay lang po kung doon sa Mindanao kasi meron naman talaga doon na hindi makontrol ng government natin na kailangan talaga i-declare yung martial law.
Dapat lang na sila ay bigyan na ng solusyon sa mga ginagawa nilang kaguluhan doon. Para noon, hindi na madagdagan pa, hindi na sila dumami.
Pabor naman po ako sa pagde-declare ni President Duterte po. Kasi po, based on Philippine Constitution naman po, kung yung isang part or yung Pilipinas po is under rebellion, pwede naman po isabatas or isagawa yung magmartial law po.
Agree kami sa martial law para ma-prevent yung rebelde na kumalat sa whole Mindanao.
You're back in the newsroom on CNN Philippines. Let's now get an update on operations against the Maute group in Marawi City. Our Camille Abadisha joins us live from the Armed Forces headquarters in Quezon City. Camille, how are the operations doing?
Mitzi, the Armed Forces says it killed 13 out of the up to 80 Maute members sowing terror in Marawi City. AFP Public Affairs Office Chief Colonel Edgar Darevalo says they have rescued over 80 civilians from the school and hospital that were occupied by the terror group. He says that they cleared Amay Pakpak Medical Center, Mindanao State University, and the Marawi City Hall and recovered firearms such as M16 rifles and other explosive components. However, Arevalo admits they are encountering challenges from terrorist snipers and bombs planted in some areas. Reinforcements are also slowed down by traffic congestion due to the evacuation of residents. On kidnapping, Arevalo quotes Western Mindanao Command Chief Lieutenant General Galvez as saying there are indications terrorists abducted a priest. Arevalo says they may clear Marawi City in 2 to 3 days. In the meantime, Arevalo says they have drafted implementing guidelines on martial law for their operating units, but they are awaiting guidance from Malacanang before finalizing these.
We are just acting proactively by preparing this list of guidelines that we will be providing to our operating units to ensure that they will be abreast and well educated as to the limits and bounds of how and we should implement the additional capability or abilities that are provided to us by virtue of this proclamation.
Mitzi, on the government side, there are 5 confirmed killed in action and 31 wounded, but the military has yet to confirm reports of civilian casualties. Mitzi.
We will be keeping a close watch on that story. Thank you very much. Camille Abadisha reporting to us from the Armed Forces headquarters in Quezon City. While senators await President Duterte's report justifying the declaration of martial law, Ceci Lardizabal finds out what the lawmakers think about the move.
All they have to do now is wait until President Rodrigo Duterte renders his report on the martial law declaration. As soon as they receive the report within 48 hours from the declaration, which expires Thursday night, senators gather with congressmen for a joint session. Senators have varying thoughts on the matter. Senator Gringo Onasan, chairman of the Committee on Defense, agrees with the president in making the declaration Mindanao-wide.
Even if the situation is localized, you have to make sure that there are control measures to regulate the entry of personnel, people, who will probably be operating under normal conditions, para hindi na naman tayo masingitan.
Onasan does not see a failure of intelligence in the Marawi siege, rather a failure in coordination. But Senator Mig Zubiri, who expressed his deep concern for his fellow Mindanaoans, has a different take.
Ang nangyari sa tingin ko, medyo failure of intelligence din po ito kahit papano. Dahil paano nakapasok ang armed groups na ito sa isang napakalaking syudad katulad ng Marawi.
Senator Ping Lacson also believes intelligence failed.
You can call it that kasi paanong nakapasok yung ganong karaming armed group
Tapos at the time when the PNP was conducting operations sa Pilon.
While almost everyone support the president in this endeavor, opposition senators Riza Ontiveros and Sonny Trillanes raise some concern.
Yung sinabi mismo ni Presidente na yung martial law ay martial law, hindi magiging iba sa martial law ni dating Pangulong Marcos, ito at ako'y magiging mabagsik. I will be harsh.
Yung kaguluhan ay hindi lumalabas sa Marawi. So, in short, hindi warranted na mag-declare ng martial law sa buong Mindanao.
Senators are one in expressing their deep concern for the people of Marawi, especially innocent civilians. They urge the public to pray for the safety of our soldiers and law enforcers while they go after terrorists and restore peace in the land. Cecil Ardizabal, CNN Philippines.
Senators are set to have another caucus on Monday on the president's declaration of martial law. Majority Leader Tito Soto says they will invite Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, National Security Advisor Hermogenes Esperon, and AFP Chief of Staff Eduardo Año at the Senate. From the Senate to the House of Representatives, the martial law declaration is drawing mixed reactions. Here are some views from congressmen on the issue.
Kasi po ang terrorism, hindi lang po maaring yung kaguluhan ay nasa Marawi ngayon, no? Pero yung mga terorista, I think, are everywhere. I'm sure everywhere in Mindanao and if not sa buong Pilipinas.
Kakatulong na malaki sa pag-solve ng paghanap ng solusyon doon sa problema sa insurgensya sa Surigao del Sur.
Hindi malayo na habang nakatuon ang pansin natin sa Marawi, no, addressing yung situation doon, pwede silang manggulo sa ibang lugar para ma-divert ang attention ng ating security forces.
Ba't hindi nyo nakita ito? Napakaliit ng grupo nitong Mauti. Dapat by this time yung movement nila, track na ninyo.
Talagang nakakaano yan, no? Na ang epekto niyan is displacement of civilians and andyan yung threat of, warrantless arrest.
In a statement, Akbayan Party List Representative Tom Villerin said the declaration was uncalled for and a knee-jerk reaction. He believes the situation will only worsen due to possible human rights violations. Philippine Airlines is offering a refund for passengers holding tickets with confirmed bookings heading to Mindanao after the declaration of martial law there. Flights affected are those bound for Butuan, Cagayan de Oro, Cotabato, Dipolog, Davao, General Santos, Ozamis, Surigao, and Zamboanga. Dated today, May 24 until July 30th. Passengers can also rebook their tickets without penalty within 90 days from original flight date or within the ticket validity period. Aside from that, flight rerouting will be allowed on restricted or non-restricted tickets without penalty. Meanwhile, Budget Care Cebu Pacific is also offering refund and free rebooking of tickets to and from any destination in Mindanao. That's from Thursday, May 25 until the 31st. Still on Cebu Pacific, the airline is suspending its operations in 3 Middle Eastern routes. Cebu Pac will soon stop flying to and from Kuwait, Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, and Doha in Qatar. The airline says these routes are no longer viable and sustainable. Last flights to and from the 3 routes will start June 13 and end July 1st. Cebu Pacific, meanwhile, says it will continue to operate its daily flights between Manila and Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Our top story tonight, President Duterte has placed Mindanao under martial law and has suspended the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus there for 60 days. He tasked Armed Forces Chief General Eduardo Año as martial law administrator. The president also says he will not hesitate to expand the declaration if terror reaches the Visayas and Luzon. Let's get more perspective on this from Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo. He joins us through Viber. Good evening, Attorney Panelo. Thank you for joining us tonight. Oh, joins us on the phone, sorry. Attorney, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, Attorney. Yeah, so we'd just like to know how will this be formalized? Or there's a legal process. So what is the next step? How will President Duterte carry out the legal process?
From the time the president issues a proclamation of martial law, he is required under the Constitution to submit within 48 hours in writing or in person the said proclamation. And Congress, within 48 hours, will have to convene, whether by special session or regular session, and decide either to approve the proclamation or revoke the same.
All right,
If Congress revokes it, then the president cannot overturn it.
Attorney, what happens if
It will last until 60 days.
Okay.
Unless upon his initiative, Congress will extend it.
All right, Attorney Panelo, and if the plan is rejected, what happens then in such a case?
Well, if the Congress rejects it, then it will be lifted.
All right, sir. And under the Constitution, it says that martial law can only be imposed for 60 days. But we've been hearing President Duterte say this could probably go further than that. Does that mean that he will have to reissue another declaration following the 60 days?
No. What he's saying is that if the conditions require or an extension of the martial law, then he will tell Congress about it. And Congress, since it is under the law required to listen to what the president will say, and certainly the president will have to submit proof. The Secretary of National Defense, the PNP chief, and the Army would be telling Congress that it is not yet right to lift martial law. Then I'm sure Congress will listen, and it will extend the proclamation.
Okay.
For a certain period of time again.
All right. Attorney Panelo, a general order will be issued by President Duterte for martial law, and the administrator will be Armed Forces Chief General Eduardo Año. Can you explain to us what his duties will be exactly in this case, that of the martial law administrator?
As martial law administrator, he will be implementing the administration in that area right now.
And Attorney, does that mean that he has powers over the police, the army? I mean, what are his powers exactly and limitations?
Yes, of course. Since he will be the administrator, he will have power over the armed forces. But please remember that martial law does not supplant the civilian courts nor the functioning legislative bodies in that area.
Okay, thank you very much for your insights tonight and for joining us, Attorney Sal Panelo, Chief Presidential Legal Counsel. Netizens share their prayers and messages of support for the people of Marawi and the whole of Mindanao. And in entertainment, a young Peter Parker suits up and steps up his game in the brand new trailer for Spider-Man Homecoming. CNN Philippines Newsroom will be right back. Hello to those of you joining us on Facebook Live. We're getting a lot of comments on Facebook regarding this declaration on martial law, and many of you actually agree with this or have expressed support for the recent declaration of martial law in Mindanao. Jean Bedeo Bauer says, "Good job, Mr. President." Belinda Quinones says, "That's the best decision our president did." And Elda May Wild says, "My family and friends in Mindanao said they feel a lot safer and it doesn't bother them at all, just more military around and more checkpoints." We thank you all for sending your comments. Please continue to share your reactions, and please do stay tuned until the end of the show. Welcome back. Prayers and expressions of support lit social media up following the declaration of martial law in Mindanao. This Twitter user tells the people of Marawi, quote, "We're keeping you in our prayers and we do hope you're safe." Another one wishes attacks to stop permanently. This netizen tries to allay fears by saying martial law is not to be feared because it's for public safety. One tweet, meanwhile, reminds everyone to really pray for Marawi because neither Twitter nor Facebook will do it for them. This user shares a photograph of the Philippine flag and writes, "This is our flag and it will remain like this." As this one echoes, blue above red always. The hashtag Pray for Philippines was among the top trending topics on Twitter Philippines today. For more on these stories, you can visit our website at cnnphilippines.com and follow us on.
Something happened in Mindanao. ISIS occupied a province and there is still fighting going on. I have to go home because I should be there at this time. It's an urgent matter that the people should be there at this time.
Sa gitna ng problemang ito ng terorismo, ay binigyan diin ng Pangulo ang pangangailangan sa pagbili ng mga armas. Matatandaang natigil ang pagbenta ng Amerika ng mga armas sa Pilipinas dahil sa issue ng umano'y extrajudicial killings sa bansa.
I am sorry if I hurry up, but I need to buy. If you can grant me a soft loan, if I have the money, I'll pay again right away. Because the arms that we ordered from America was cancelled, and I'm having a problem now with the ISIS.